Shalom, shalom. Divine masculinity from an ancient Hebraic perspective. For too long, masculinity has been defined by the world, either by toxic aggression, by weakness, and passivity. But what does Yahuah say about masculinity? Which means mighty man. That's right, strong. It's not just about strength, it's about responsibility and ultimately leadership under Yahuah's authority, his control. We're going to be talking about is Zakar, proclaiming them with faith and with dignity. Biblically, masculinity is not about physical strength, but spiritual responsibility. Shalom. My name is El Hanuk, and welcome to Type of Man, section of Reset, Restore, Recover podcast. This section is dedicated to restoring divine masculinity from an ancient Hebraic perspective. So, for too long, masculinity has been defined by the world, either by toxic aggression or by weakness and passivity. But what exactly does Yahuah say about masculinity? What type of man are you? Are you a man of wisdom, a man of strength, a man of integrity, discipline? Are you leading your household as Yahuah has called and commanded us as men to lead our households? Or are you mastered and controlled by your emotions, by your impulses? See, the world has a definition of masculinity that differs from the ancient Hebraic definition of masculinity. The word masculinity in English is commonly referred to as qualities or attributes regarded as characteristics of men, such as strength, assertiveness, and physical dominance. It's often associated with physical power and aggression, suppression, independence, and societal roles that are commonly assigned to men in Western culture. But modern culture tends to define masculinity either as hyper-aggressive, which is toxic masculinity, or passive, which is soft masculinity. This confuses the biblical understanding of what true masculinity is according to Yah. The Torah and the ancient Hebraic perspective of masculinity reveals something much more concrete and deeper. So the Hebrew word most closely associated with masculinity is Gabor, Gimel Bet Resh, which means mighty man, a warrior, one who is valiant and prevails. It literally is connected to the root Gimel Bet Resh, which means to be strong and to prevail and to overcome an obstacle. It's not just about strength. It's about responsibility, integrity, and leadership under Yahuah's divine authority. Another word for masculinity Hebraically would be Zakar, which means male, remember, a memorial. It really means to remember and to act upon. This word is significant because it connects the idea that men are created to proclaim Yahuah's word and act upon it. See, biblically, masculinity is not about physical strength, but it's about spiritual responsibility, righteous leadership, and disciplined obedience to Yahuah's word. So when we compare the English idea of masculinity and the Hebraic idea of masculinity, the English idea focuses on emotional control and suppression, outburst, self-centered ambition, while the biblical Hebraic idea of masculinity focuses on strength through obedience, wisdom, and righteous leadership. Ultimately, one who is able to master their emotions and reflect Yahuah's esteem through their Torah-given identity. Again, Hebraic masculinity is defined by divine purpose and covenant responsibility, protecting, providing, and ultimately guiding your household in righteousness. By introducing the Hebraic perspective of masculinity, you're not just redefining what a man is, but you're restoring Yahuah's original intent for manhood. This is something that has been lost again due to Western cultural influence over the world. Going back to the Hebrew word Zakar, not only does it mean male, to remember, but it gives you the understanding that a man is called to remember and walk in Yahuah's Torah through remembering who he is, and that he was made to be a reflection of Yahuah's strength, wisdom, and love. Here in Type of Man, we're going to discuss the lives of Yahuah-led men who walked in divine masculinity. We'll deal with Noah, who stood righteous in a corrupt world. We'll deal with Abraham, who was led by faith and obedience. We'll deal with Joseph, who mastered his emotions and rose to leadership. Moses, who was a leader and an intercessor under pressure. Of course, King David, who was a warrior and a worshiper, who had Yahuah's own heart, and ultimately Yahushua HaMashiach, who is the perfect example of divine masculinity. See, masculinity is not just about being strong. It's about being righteous, obedient. It's ultimately about conveying every aspect of Yahuah, his character, in every area of your life. So I ask you again with confidence, what type of man are you? Stay tuned as we uncover in this series, Type of Man, all the aspects of, again, Yahuah-led men who walked in true divine masculinity. Shalom.